Hello everyone, this is Fred Keel, comic book writer and artist from Dallas, Texas, and today is right now Saturday, January the 4th of 2025. Happy New Year everyone, we made it into the year 2025. There are some interesting things that have been happening lately, and just wanted to make sure I could take a few moments to kind of explain to you guys what's been happening over the past couple of weeks, because it's been a couple of weeks since my last video. Mostly is that I spent my time with my fiance, Dorothy. I spent time with her during Christmas, and she actually got me this very unique item that I've always wanted to have. So if you're a fan of the Lord of the Rings, you may look at this and say, well, that's not an exact replica, but this is meant to be the sword Andúril, which is actually the sword that Aragorn has in the Return of the King. Now, it's not an exact replica. I'm sure you guys can look at this. You can tell that this is not an exact replica, especially when you pull it out and take a look at it. It's like, wait a second here. I remember there was actually some form of Elvish language written across here, and also the sword was actually maybe about this much bigger. So most people will look at this and say, that's not an exact replica, but it's something that my sweetheart, she saw, and she said that she really wanted to get this for me for Christmas. So this actually was my Christmas gift from her, and I really enjoy it. And it's actually going to go along pretty well with my other sword that I have of Sting. This is the sword that Frodo and Bilbo have in both the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogy. And let me go ahead and pull that out, because I don't think I've really shown this to anyone, but this is a real replica of the actual sword Sting. And if you look closely enough, you can see that there is some form of Elvish language that's written across it because it's made by the elves. But anyway, my father got this for me, I want to say back in the year 2015 or 2016 as a gift. So having that plus the sword that Aragorn has, I was like, okay, this is great, this is wonderful. So I was very grateful to my sweetheart for getting that for me. So that's what I got for my sweetheart. I also took the time to pick up a few other items that I found at some mod pop shops, some half-price bookstores. So I'm not sure if anyone's aware, but back in the day, I used to be a huge fan of like grunge and some of the early heavy metal bands that were coming out back during the 90s and the early 2000s. So I picked up and I saw at a half-price bookstore, they had these two signed copies of these albums by Drowning Pool. One was Desensitized, and then there was also another one called Full Circle. Both have different singers. There's one singer that worked on just this one record, and the gentleman who did this record actually did one more record before quitting, and he actually just recently rejoined the band. But I just saw these and realized that they were signed by all the original members, and I said, okay, I think I will pick these up. So they're in my collection, and I've been rocking them out ever since. I also took the time to pick this up. I found this at a kind of like a secondhand store called Recycled Books over in Denton, Texas, which is kind of north of the Dallas area. Call of Duty Black Ops 3. They had this. Now I think this is the European version for Xbox One. Just the thing was that they had this, it was actually factory sealed, and it was $10, and it looked like it was in great shape and everything. So, and I've always been a huge fan of Call of Duty, so I said, okay, I think I will pick this up. So got that in my collection. Now, as far as comic books are concerned, I picked up a few books like right before New Year's, and I just recently, just last night, picked up a few other books that came out just after New Year's. So few older books that I found at a half-price bookstore. So I found Grimm Fairy Tales, issue number 16 from Zenescope Entertainment. I picked this up just because the pencil work was actually worked on by a good friend of mine and someone who also worked on my Queen Cobra book series, Mr. Andrew Mangum. He did the interior work for this book. I'm not sure, I know I'm getting a bit of a glare, and I know I'm getting a little bit of reflection from the screen. So I'm trying my best to make sure I could show it and be like, hey, here you go. But yeah, Andrew Mangum worked on the interior work for this book. So, and they had this for like $2. So I just, okay, I'll pick it up. I also picked up this other book. This is an old Image Comics book. Image Comics, Gen 13 and Monkey Man and O'Brien, issue number 1 by Arthur Adams. He's actually been to the Dallas Comic Show a few times, and he's also been to a few other shows in and around the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And so when I saw this, I was like, okay. I mean, it's not a very high-graded book, and it's also not a very sought-after book, but I love his work. I think he's a very talented artist, and I just said, okay, I think I'll pick this up since it's one of his earlier works. Most recently, just yesterday, I picked up these books from my LCS, 2011 Comics, which is in Flower Mound, Texas. Fairy Tale Team Up Robin Hood and Red Agent number 1 by Zenescope. I just picked this up just because of the cover. I love the cover. It just looked beautiful, and I just said, okay. It does have sort of, I believe it's, Royal. He worked on this cover, and I just was like, wow, I'm a huge fan of his work, and I was like, I got to pick this up and read it. So, and then finally, lo and behold, I have Ninja High School issue number 197. This has sort of like an Archie Comics type vibe to it, but anyway, I saw this and was like, I got to pick this up, and so I got it. But I mean, aside from that, I did have a few showrunners and a few exhibitors that reached out to me about wanting to do some shows this year. So aside from doing the 40th anniversary Antarctic Press birthday bash, I have a show that'll be coming up in the month of April of 2025. It'll be in Waco, Texas. Now, I'm still trying to work out the details of it, but it'll be coming up very soon. But I have that, and I have a few other shows lined up that I'll probably discuss in the not-too-distant future. But it hasn't really been a very productive holiday. It's just been mostly just me just spending time with my fiance and discussing some things about what we plan to do in the future and kind of just getting an idea of what we're going to do in early 2025. But aside from that, I mean, the biggest thing that really happened basically this week in the early 2025 was the fact that I was with my father recently, and we actually took a trip to Rosebud, Texas, which is actually just further south of Dallas. It's roughly about a 3-hour drive from where I live here in the Dallas area. And for those of you who are aware, my mother passed away from colon cancer back in June of 2023. My father took the time to have my mother cremated, and then we took the time to have her ashes placed in a large urn, which we had kept in the bedroom. And recently, my dad has recently got into a new relationship with a young lady that he knows from Fort Worth, and he just felt the need to go ahead and not dispose of my mom's ashes, but he wanted to make sure that we could honor my mother and take the time to bury her ashes right next to my grandfather and my grandmother, which was Fred L. Linder and Gaynell Linder. Now, Fred L. Linder, he actually passed away when I was just a young baby back in 1984, and then my grandmother, Gaynell, passed away back in 2008. And it was a circumstance where, like I said, we didn't know exactly what else to do except just, bury her next to my grandmother and grandfather. And it was just something had happened where Dad really wanted to say something and just let it be made known that, she was a very sweet lady, that he loved her, and that he really wanted, and that he's looking forward to seeing her someday in the near future in heaven. And I don't know what came over me, but I just got to where I felt a certain amount of emotion, and I didn't know exactly what to say when it came time to say my last goodbye. So I chose not to say anything. I'm not sure if this factors in any way, shape, or form, but I know that there was this quote, an actual refrigerator magnet that my mom had placed on the refrigerator many years ago. It was from Abraham Lincoln, in which it says, "It's best to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak up and to remove all doubt." And I don't know why, I just felt like, okay, I don't really know exactly what to say at this moment, so I just chose not to say anything. But the thing I did want to make sure I could make known to people is that I loved my mother. I loved her very dearly, and it was very sad and depressing when she died so suddenly. But I know there's a hope that awaits us who believe in our Lord Jesus Christ, which is that we will see them again in heaven. Sorry, guys, my my little dog Max wanted to make a small little appearance here. I'm sorry, guys. Max is feeling all alone. He wants some attention because I'm paying close attention to making this video rather than paying attention to him. So sorry, you guys. But I guess in closing, I just wanted to say, you guys, that I do have some things lined up. I do have a new comic book I'm working on that will be available for Free Comic Book Day in the not too distant future. It's going to be probably in either March or April. I'll have the book available. And just keep a lookout. I'll probably be posting it all over my Instagram and my Facebook page and so on and so forth. I actually recently had a gentleman who contacted me about wanting to do a 15-page short story that I can't really give too much information out, but I do have that in the works. Plus, also, there's going to be the release of Ninja High School 200, which features the story that I collaborated with Mr. Larry Higgins, Nicholas Webb, and SK. And it's going to be I'm hoping it'll cause a big, huge splash in which people that usually would never read Antarctic Press books will start to read them again. So anyway, you guys just keep a lookout on my Facebook and Instagram page. Fred Keel is the best way to reach me on Facebook, and it's on Instagram. It's at Fred_Keel, all lowercase letters. And like I said, just be on the lookout. But in the meantime, I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'll talk to you again soon, and I'll do another video pretty soon. If you like what you see, make sure you can leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and just be on the lookout for more videos in the near future. Y'all take care, and God bless, and have a blessed day.